Craig Breslow leaving the door open over the weekend for Rafael Devers to play first base.
They tell Devers yet? We know their communication with Devers hasn't been great in the past.
Well, his manager, Alex Cora, shot it down very quickly. He said, from my end right now, no, about the idea of Devers playing first base. We asked him to do something in spring training, and in the beginning, he didn't agree with it. Oh, he didn't?
No, I noticed that.
And now he's very comfortable doing what he's doing at DH. So like I told you guys in spring training, he's my DH.
So the beginning of
2
that,
weeks before that, he also said he's my third baseman. So.
right. So the beginning of that statement also leaves a little bit of wiggle room. He uses the popular phrase, right now.
Right now.
Right here. Right now. Right here. Right now. So he's saying right now. So I guess he could change his mind. Maybe an hour after the press conference, maybe they got together and they're like, look, Casas isn't coming back. We can't have Roman Gonzalez out there all the time. It really comes down to...
I just think it's interesting because Breslow is leaving the door open clearly in that clip we just played. And Devers won't even meet with the media to talk about it. As Cotillo pointed, the media requested him 3 times in 36 hours. He declined all 3. So he clearly doesn't want to do it and doesn't want to talk about not wanting to do it. And Cora's hung up in the middle, which I guess is an awkward spot to be in, but they pay you well. That's your job. Figure it out. He's siding with the player now, but maybe you're right, Keefe. Maybe he's siding with Devers now to move to first base and replace Triston Casas after the season-ending injury. Maybe he's siding with Devers now just to soften the blow and ultimately get him out at first base. I think it's irrefutable. The easiest way, and we'll see if he can play it. I don't know if he could play it.
He might be terrible at it.
He might be terrible at it.
He might be the worst ever at it.
But why wouldn't you try? Why wouldn't you give it a shot and try it? Because if he can play there, even adequately, even a little below average defensively at first, but he gives you a good stick at first, that's the best way to win games. That's the best way to compete.
All right, why not, on the flip side, why not move Christian Campbell? Is it you're throwing a lot at him, he's a young guy?
No, I just think, I think Devers' bat plays at first. I'm not sure Campbell's does.
Yeah.
Now,
right now you're coming off of nothing at first base.
No, I understand. It's the same combination of guys, right? So you'd move Campbell to first, you play Meyer at second, and Devers would remain at DH. I'd probably tweak that a little bit with find a way to get Roman Anthony up. Not at first base, but as a DH, some days in the outfield. And that's probably how I would do it, but it's very similar. You're basically getting the same combination of players out there. But I just think Devers' bat plays at first. You're right, they're getting nothing at first right now. Campbell, to me, long-term, and this is a bit of a long-term thing. I don't mean to contradict myself on winning now, but I think Campbell at second and a little bit of outfield still helps you win now. He's still in the lineup. To me, that would be the best way to get the most out of Campbell long-term while also giving you competent second base play. We also don't know that Meyer can play second.
We don't know if any of these guys can. That's the thing. They don't have a backup first baseman. They don't. So that's something that you can look at with Craig Breslow and say, all right, last year you had a guy playing 60 games because of a rib injury that just never went away. You also aren't really – he's turned down contract extensions. You know, the play-by-play guy on the radio saying he won't be on the team next year. What is your plan at first base? Like, what do you have if Casas either struggles or gets hurt or whatever? They don't have one. They have a bunch of second basemen. They got a bunch of shortstops. They got a bunch of third basemen. They got a bunch of outfielders. They don't have a first baseman. Even isn't Vaughn Grissom playing first in Worcester? Yep. He's not a first baseman.
Nope.
Roman Gonzalez, not a first baseman. Nope. Abraham Toro, not like they don't have anybody that plays first base. So I wonder if you ask Cora and Breslow, you know, future aside, hurt feelings aside, who do they think would be the best defensive first baseman? Like, I don't even know. Is that even how you start the question? And be like, all right, who could play the position? Who could pick it up the quickest? And then if the answer is Campbell or Meyer, do you ask them, or are you saying, no, a young guy's got so much on their plate, they don't need to be playing a place that they're not familiar with? Because that's what I would still do. I would ask Campbell to play first base.
So you bring up Meyer. I brought up Anthony. Neither of us are planning on playing that guy at first. It doesn't sound like Craig Breslow is either. He was asked about this on Saturday. Here's what he had to say about the idea of Meyer or Anthony at first.
Would you ever experiment with Roman or Marcelo at first?
It doesn't seem like that's in the plans right now. I think both of those guys obviously are showing the ability to impact both sides of the ball. But given, I think, the bright futures that they have ahead of them at their respective positions, introducing additional variables doesn't make a ton of sense right now.
Okay, so that's an annoying way to say it.
That really is.
Introducing extra variables.
Yeah.
That's just an annoying way to say it, but I do agree with the approach. I'm not putting Meyer there. I'm not putting Anthony there.
No, and that's fine. I don't think those guys have to, but I'm so fixated on Campbell because they are willing to move him, and he's not even great at the place that you play him.
Where you played him defensively, he doesn't look natural at either one.
No.
So if he's not a natural second baseman, they tried him in left field for like a game. I don't think he's going to get a lot of run in center field. So
and Marcelo Meyer,
he's a guy who might need a position, to your point.
And Meyer maybe plays second, at least for this season. And then who knows? Story's either going to get hurt or you can figure out the future with him, and then he slides over. It wouldn't be the first time that happened. I mean, you look in Baltimore, isn't the best shortstop prospect of the last few years Jackson Holliday, and he plays second, right? Like he has to because you have one of the best players in baseball playing short. And Meyer talked to us, Bragg, back at Polar Park. He just wants to play in the majors.
Friend of the show just wants to get up here. Oh, no.
Remember, we're like, hey, are you okay playing a different position? He's like, are you kidding me?
I bet Meyer or Anthony would do it to get up here.
They'd play first, second, third. They'd catch. They don't care. They just want to play.
Because they both deserve to be up here.
Yes.
I think in a lot of organizations they would be up here, and that's a whole nother can of worms. Why aren't they here? Are they not here because they wouldn't play ball on a contract like Christian Campbell? Are they not here at minimum because the Red Sox are manipulating service time?
I think it might be that. Also, like
it goes back to it feels to me like they don't really want to win right now. If you want to win, you get Devers at first. If you want to win, you get Anthony up here. And there's a way to do both of those easy. Devers at first, Anthony's at DH, mix him in the outfield, boom, done. There's a way to do both. And the team needs, Keefe, so clearly needs something. They're flat.
Oh, they are.
And calling up the top prospect in baseball, or to a lesser degree, and trust me, I'd love Meyer here too.
Bring them both up.
But the team needs something like that. Yeah. And why aren't you doing it? You don't want to win? You're more worried about manipulating their service time and their contracts instead of trying to get your best team out on the field. Because let me tell you, no offense to Romy Gonzalez or great guy David Hamilton, I don't need to see those guys out there. They're not helping you win baseball games.
It is funny. I think it was last week, Cora was on with Hart and Fitzy, and he was like, it's a great time to be a Red Sox. I think he jinxed everybody because since then, Casas has gotten hurt. They've lost a bunch of games. They're now 500. Like, I don't think it's a great time to be a Red Sox right now.
Nope.
They don't have a first baseman. They are blowing leads left and right. They're going back to not being able to field the position. David Hamilton, once again, looking at you. So, yeah, it's a little bit of a mess. And it's funny, when Cora and Breslow have been asked recently or even in the past about Roman Anthony or Marcelo Meyer playing first base, which neither one, you and me aren't doing that, but that has been a plan that's been tossed out there. It's a lot different when it's, hey, let's make this guy change positions because Casas is struggling.
Right.
Versus Casas is done for the year.
We have nobody to play there.
Because then it's like, well, how do you get Casas back on track? And then, like, are you platooning him? And you're right. That doesn't make any sense. But now that spot is just open, there's a vacancy at the major league level. Now you really do need to consider all options.
Jones and Keefe here on WEEI. Red Sox struggling. They got to replace Triston Casas on top of their struggles. They're 18-18 here in early May, Cinco de Mayo. So how do you fix the Red Sox?
Right, Cinco de Mayo.
Yeah, big day.
Oh, hell yeah.
They were doing
Margarita night.
They were doing their top nacho destinations in the city.
Okay.
I'm not sure if I texted Greg this, and I don't know if he read it on the air or not. Sunset Grill, is Sunset Grill still open? Grill and Cantina.
I'm not sure.
I would throw my hat in the ring.
Your sombrero.
My sombrero into the ring.
See.
On Cinco de Mayo for best nachos in the city.
1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi, 4 Mississippi.
Hey, you got any drink?
I have an old margarita video that I can repost. I got to make something else tonight. Maybe something else. Yeah, send me some suggestions.
Yeah, something festive, if you could. That'd be great. By the way, if you're just tuning in, Julian Edelman, voted in by fans to the Patriots Hall of Fame. He'll be joined by Bill Parcells, 37th member of the Patriots Hall of Fame. He's going in before Adam Vinatieri. I have a minor gripe about that, though it's hard to kick and scream too much because I imagine all those guys get in. Real quick, Keith, the bullpen. How concerned are you about their struggles? They blow more leads over the weekend, back-to-back games against the Twins.
Yeah, hard not to be concerned. You know, at one point early in the year, it felt like a strength of the team. You know, the starting pitching wasn't great. The offense was pretty inconsistent, but it felt like if you got into the pen with the lead, you were going to win. Now I do not feel that way. Now I don't feel that way. And I know Cora has like this commitment to Whitlock, throwing 2 innings every time he's out there. You know, at one point, Slayton felt like a guy that was nails. Now, yeah, I'm definitely concerned. It seems like they're all struggling at the same time.
Well, Slayton just hasn't pitched that great, to be honest. He's had a couple of blow-up outings now consecutively. Chapman's been awesome, but the bullpen ERA is 4.11 on the year, which is underwhelming.
Yeah.
I've seen this criticism on social media. I think it's a good one. Why does Cora have to keep running Whitlock back out for second innings?
He loves a second inning Whitlock.
I know he's a former starter and he has some, but maybe you're asking a little too much out of Whitlock because he keeps falling apart. the deeper into these outings he goes. So that would be a criticism. I'd also keep an eye on, and I think, number one, you dodged a major bullet. You could have lost Casas over the weekend in Crochet with that ball lined back at him yesterday, which just grazed his nose. I don't even know. I've never seen that. I don't even know how that's possible.
Yeah,
that's
scary.
Grazed his beak on the way by and, barely even left a mark. But coming out of that start, and Crochet was asked about it after the game, and he didn't seem concerned, neither did Cora, but watch it. Crochet's velocity is down.
Yeah, for a guy that has a ERA of 2, he's had a lot of games where afterwards we're like, I didn't have his best stuff today.
Well,
like how often can you not have your best stuff?
And he's gone the deepest he has into games in April in his career. He's thrown the most pitches he has in games in April in his career. I'm talking about individual games. I don't know about the totality of the month.
Probably.
But
honestly,
I would imagine.
I would assume.
So I don't know the answer, but is his dip in velocity related to workload, and is that something to watch? I would just say monitor that. I'm not saying freak out about it, but let's see if that continues to be a thing in his next start and the start after that.
Well, and it was brutal, too, just because he kind of had to be a gamer to get through 5, right? Like it looked like at one point, like, oh, man, like he might have to come out early, but he got through 5. He was at least in line for the win. And it is one thing where I guess at least the bullpen has been bad for everybody. Usually there's like one pitcher that like has like the worst luck. But no, they've treated him equally. Tanner Houck got a game blown for him. Lucas Giolito got a game blown for him. Garrett Crochet got a game blown for him.
They're equal opportunists.
Those guys were all lined up for wins. And the team, they also, like, their offense kind of runs out of gas late, but I'm still pointing more towards the bullpen because you were up. Like the starter was out. You needed to get either 9 outs, or I guess in the case yesterday, you needed to get 12 outs and weren't able to do it.
So the Red Sox are 500. What's wrong with them? They dodged a bullet with Crochet yesterday. That could have been a lot worse because they have no margin for error after him. And they got to figure out how to replace Triston Casas. Keefe, his solution is Christian Campbell. Move him to first, get Marcelo Meyer up, play him at second. I play Devers there and get Roman Anthony up here and mix him in at DH along with the outfield.